Peace and love, everybody. This is AI News with Erik. And you know me, we talk about artificial intelligence. But today, we got somebody on that is definitely spectacular, out of this world. And his name is Stephen Pullum. And we actually befriended each other on LinkedIn, man. And what happened was I ended up wondering like who he was, man. And I started seeing him post things and he was sending me stuff. Like we just kind of like attached immediately. And he started sending me stuff that I need to read on cybersecurity because I'm not really into cybersecurity like that. So he's kind of become my mentor since then. And because I send him he sends me a lot of stuff, man. So his name is Stephen Pullum. And I want to read some things to you guys on him. He's the founder of Afro Security AI. And he's the IEEE senior member. He's a top 100 innovator and entrepreneurs, top 100 magazine, top 5 AI leaders driving impact in 2024 CIO Today magazine, Chief Artificial Intelligence Officer, Artificial Intelligence Management Professional. He's a certified artificial intelligence expert, artificial intelligence governance architect. But he got so much more going on as far as that goes. Like he got certificates in everything. And I started watching the people that was actually following him. And that's what made me feel like, wow, Stephen, this dude is somebody. Like he's a big deal. But the thing about it is when we started texting each other, I mean, not texting each other, we was like going back and forth, like on LinkedIn, like, and not talking, texting each other, not on the phone though. I said to myself, this brother seemed cool. Just from the way he was like sending me stuff. And I even told a couple of people, I said, yo, the brother seemed real cool. And then when you called me that morning, I was like, yo, this brother is real cool. So I want y'all to know, man, we not dealing with a regular nerd type dude. And what's important to me is everything I be trying to teach people as far as learn AI, he's going to break that down. But what's really important is the cybersecurity part of this, because my son is actually into cybersecurity, but he's not into AI cybersecurity. So once again, we got Stephen Pullum on. I'm going to let him introduce himself, talk about his company, and then I'm going to ask him some questions because what I want y'all to know is Stephen is not a regular dude. And for all the certificates that he has, I don't think you can find too many people like us from the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like from the hood, you know what I'm saying? California, man. Like, and when I tell you he knows like us, that's all I could say. If he sat in the room with us and we talked about hip hop, he's all the way there. If we talked about anything, he's there. He could talk with us. So he's not no nerd dude, but he got every certificate in the world, man. And I'm honored to have him on the podcast. And he actually didn't even hesitate. He was like, yo, Erik, I already told you whatever you need, I got you. So yo, once again, Stephen Pullum, introduce yourself, man.
What's going on, everybody? Hey, I'm Steve. Some folks call me Uncle Steve. Some folks call me Cyber Moses. I don't. That's some Africans over there. But I started Security AI in 2021. I was teaching at Texas Tech, not Texas Tech, but University of Texas San Antonio Cyber Range, and I helped the Africa Cyber Defense Forum with a Cyber Olympics. And it went from 1 year from like 7 or 8 teams to 50 something teams. I got them together with CompTIA, and those teams became a company and in Africa. And the team that won was in Ghana. I decided to go to Ghana, because Africa has a lot of talent, but because they're Africa, people always think nothing's happening, this is cracking. But if you look, Africa is, very, very, astute in cybersecurity and cyber. And so I went there to Ghana, and that's where I branded Africa Security. But it's not just Africa, the continent. It's African Americans. It's everything marginalized, minority that he's exposed. And I registered it with the Small Business Association. I'm 100% disabled veteran, so it's a small disabled veteran-owned small business. It's in Texas. It's forward-facing in Europe because I'm on the European Commission's AI plenary. I'm on the United States NIST, the National AI Advisory Council. I'm an IEEE senior member. I'm on the IEEE Generative AI subcommittee. But all that is just stuff, right? I always want to be the person there to make sure that with all this rhetoric going around, that we don't forget about the people, right? Because I come from born in Cali, raised in Texas, West Coast, and dirty. So I am from the Juneteenth people. You know, after everybody else was free, we still baling hay and lifting cotton. So I'm from that baling hay and lifting cotton. So we still. So I'm from that generation. Matter of fact, my hometown is the fifth oldest town in Texas. Only got 2,000 people. It was the largest slaving town. I'm from the largest slaving family. So Juneteenth is about my family. We take that personal way before it became a holiday and everybody else knew about it. And so having that foundation, I mean, my hometown, we still got plantation farm. Knowing that, right, I knew already, especially since Juneteenth, that it was going to be a road. It's going to be a road, because if people are not going to be equal in liberation, they're not going to be equal in elevation. So I've always looked at things from the viewpoint of, I got to get that. I have to get it.
All right. So we talking about what you're doing, and you have gotten it very well. I'm gonna do this. I want to play this. This was something that Stephen asked me to play, and he'll explain why after we play it. Enjoy.
How you like me now?
When they listen to it.
Yeah. Why'd you want to play that?
All right, so let me explain that to you, right? So I started my career in 1982. My mom had bought me a Commodore 64. I eventually went to a Commodore 128, TRS-8, Trash 80s and stuff like that. I'm from Texas, not that far from Dallas. So we had Radio Shack, headquartered in Fort Worth, and we had TI, Texas Instruments, right there. And at the time, back in the 80s, those were powerhouse. And so while everybody else was, remember this is 1982, I'm programming BASIC. I'm in the first computer lab ever in that area. I'm writing viruses on Apple IICs, 2Es before the Macs came out. Everybody else thought it was a fad. Remember at the same time, Mike Dell is still at UTA, University of Texas. Bill Gates and Woz are still sitting in his mom's garage. I think Jobs is out there somewhere in Tibet getting high. So and a lot of things was going on. But anyway, so during that time, right, it was the IBM mainframe world, and so everything was IBM. If you were going into the computer field, IBM. That was it, IBM. And so by the time 84 came around, when I graduated in 1984, everybody else was doing it. There was no internet. There wasn't any AOL. None of this stuff today. There was no smartphones. A matter of fact, I was on a party line. At a party line, we dial up.
You get into this period like in high school? Because first of all, you've been like, me and Stephen have spoken before this, and he's been around the world more than once. But what made you get into cybersecurity? First of all, because like nobody I know got into cybersecurity. But first of all, we're not even talking about AI, because AI wasn't even in the picture. Maybe for you knew about it, and certain people. No, I know it was in the picture for you, but when you got into cybersecurity at that time, was AI a problem in cybersecurity world, or was it's still a narrow AI?
So it's like this. And when I went to the Air Force. I was at DeVry in 84. I had hacked into a mainframe system at DeVry and ran to the Air Force. And that's the time that you had Nick and all those other guys. You had the Cult of the Dead Cow got started in 84. You had the Chaos Computer Club out of Germany. You had a bunch of folks, Loft Heavy Industries. It was the age of the hacking groups, way before Corrupt came out in 94. We was doing that in 84. So I went to the Air Force. The Air Force was always synonymous with mainframe. And so when I went to school for computers, I went for Honeywell, Sperry Unisys, PDP-11s, stuff like that. I had to learn to do punch cards, A-level baud tapes, CD5250 tape, reels, and stuff like that. And so,
only thing people, I know what you just said when you said reel to reels, because only reel to reel. I think anybody listening to this know her reel to reel. Okay, I know what that is.
So what happened was Air Force computer systems were always in top secret environments. There had to be controls and methodologies to ensure that security. And so what they did was in the 70s came up with something called the Rainbow Book. And these Rainbow Books were several books of different colors that did the trusted computer security model. So cybersecurity, remember, there was no cyber. It was all DP, data processing, or IT. Cyber was actually a word created by some guy in a book. And so when they started putting all this together, they said we need to give it a name. We'll call it cyber. Before then, it was so that the genre cyber is because it combined a lot of different things together, and they needed a heading. Plus, it sounded sexy. But before then, there was no cyber. It was all DP, data processing. So the advent of the internet and doing B2B and stuff like that, it's okay. We got these jobs and hackers because originally nobody wanted to be a hacker. We were all crackers. Though that's another story. I got a thing on that. So it was all data processing, and you had a lot of innovations created under data processing, but they didn't fit under data processing header. Therefore, they changed it to cyber. So they put a lot of junk up under it, a lot of different names, a different title. You're cyber this, you're cyber that, you're cyber this, you're cyber that. Sounds sexy. You work in cyber. What do? Right? With data processing, you had to have a function in the job. I'm a data processing analyst. I'm a programmer. So I learned to program on Ada, Fortran, COBOL, converting binary to hex to octal and stuff like that. That's how I cut my teeth, right? And so AI was always a part of it. And let me give you an example. In 1983, there was a movie called War Games with Matthew Broderick, whereas the Oprah machine, right, was controlled the nuclear launch, thought it was playing a game. There wasn't a midget sitting in that box. That was AI. So if you knew all the way back then that AI was in it, they didn't call it artificial intelligence because remember, Alan Turing created AI in 1950.
Yeah, the Turing test.
Right? In 1950. So it's been around. The problem is we wasn't in the field, right? And because we're in the field now, because they gave it a name, cyber, now we want, now it's sexy. I work in cyber. I'm supposed to get this kind of money. Well, that's not how it started out. And I'm going to tell you something that's going to be groundbreaking. We were never meant to be in this field. We were never meant to be, and I'm going to qualify that, right? Because the reason why I said we were never meant to be, a few of us was in it all along, had to break some ceilings, right? But if it was meant for everybody at that time, everybody would have been in it. There's some geniuses who were in it at the time. They never got recognized.
Let me ask you this. How many people were of color in those rooms? How many people? Because you talk like this is something like everybody else was doing. Like in the rooms that you went to get everything you went and learned everything you did, how many people was black in those rooms?
None. Well, I'll take that back. Most of my supervisors in the Air Force were black females. 90% of them were black females. When people say there's not representation, it was representation. You just got to the party late. I did 10 years active, 17 reserve in the Air Force. Most of my supervisors in the computer rooms, comm rooms were black females who were visionary, right? They went from comm to computers. So I don't understand, I really don't, whether it's misrepresentation. It wasn't ever misrepresentation. There were folks there, like me. If there's misrepresentation, then how do you explain me?
Well, you just said it wasn't. Well, it was you and some females, but I'm gonna give you an example. Like they talk, I was listening to some quantum computing talk, and they talked about how the guy had talked about how he looked at a class over here in America for quantum computing. It was damn near empty, but when he looked at the class in China, the seats was filled. So I just look at that as to where even you coming up, like regardless of what you say, everybody ain't got your credentials, particularly being of a man of color, particularly being where you come from. Do you feel the military was a stepping stone for you, helped you, your parents being in the military, you a military kid? Did that help you get into that direction of saying, I want to learn computers?
No, it did not. Let me tell you what helped me. Well, my mom, who was coerced to buy me a Commodore 64. But before then, I had read the entire Encyclopedia Britannica series, the entire World Book series. What inspired me to get into computers, right, was the belief that all this knowledge, also in history, I started learning about how we created a lot of things we were not recognized for. And when I saw that, I had a teacher tell me 3 things. She said, Stephen, a lot of things you deserve, you're not going to get. But when you get it, make sure can't nobody take it from you.
Good knowledge.
When everybody was out doing sports and playing football and stuff like that, I studied because I knew that looking at all the old movies, Buck Rogers and Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica, I knew Hollywood always desensitizes you to something that's going to happen in the future. They always, so that, and then the Terminator came out in 83, Hollywood desensitizes you to facts. right? If you look at Star Trek, the first flip phone was a Motorola, looked just like Captain Kirk's communicator. We have been trying.
Oh, that's a fact.
We have been trying to imitate Hollywood, or Hollywood has prepared us for an eventual future because they keep repeating the same content script over and over, which desensitizes you. I was smart enough to look at that. They do the same thing in the music industry. They give you one kind of set and they desensitize, they pump it to you, pump it to you, pump it to you, to at one point you say, okay, that sounds great. And that sounds great. That's the new genre. That's where it's supposed to look.
Wow.
Well, it's really not, because mentally they desensitize you to what is, to what you want to see. And so at that point in the 80s, right, here I am with this brown computer box, pixelated screen. Everybody else is worried about the Dallas Cowboys are going to do. I'm worried about what I'm going to do.
Even today, they worrying about, I'm not even going to say names and stuff like that, but they're worried about all the wrong shit.
But see, that's what I'm saying, right? Because I'm giving you another example. When they changed the name to TV Guide to television programming, right? I understood programming to mean when I program something, I'm changing its mentality to what I want it to be. It used to be just TV guide to now programming, right? So I'm a programmer.
Give me that TV guide. Where the TV guide?
Where's the TV guide? Where's the TV guide? What's on the television program? Right? So I'm thinking to myself, remember, I'm from the Juneteenth family. I don't trust nobody.
You know what's crazy? Look what they give us. Look what they give us. Good times. And Sanford and Son, so they give us that. This is what you're supposed to be. Be happy if you move up like the dude. Moving on up. Be happy for the ones that get to move up in the building.
Who the neighbor was the neighbor was married to who what? No matter what George and Wheezy did, you still had. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm getting at, right? Who said that living in the projects was good times? Who said the best life you're going to have is in a junkyard driving an old red truck?
Yeah, that's a fact.
Who said that, right? Who said that two little kids going to move in with Mr. Drummond and that's the only way they're going to get ahead of successful? What you talking about, Willis? Huh? So, so I'm watching all of this, right? I'm watching this and I'm saying to myself, my motivation is like my man says, not like us.
Yeah.
Not like me.
That's a fact. So look, I'm gonna move it forward, man, because first of all, you could speak on because matter of fact, I'm not even gonna pull that up because your credentials is off the charts. But one of the reasons I wanted to get you on, Stephen, is to talk about the importance of artificial intelligence and AI and cybersecurity. And because to me, my son went to Townsend University for cybersecurity, but he don't really know nothing about AI and cybersecurity. So let's move. I want to move forward as far as, you know what I'm saying? What is the difference between a person that knows cybersecurity? Because to me, I guess you're dealing with the IT stuff, the like you said, the computers, the PC, the mainframes. But what is the difference between that person and the AI cybersecurity expert?
Okay, so let me tell you in my humble opinion what the difference is. Right, cybersecurity is the whole shebang. Right, AI security is just a subset of something called GRC, governance, risk, compliance. Everything falls under that umbrella. Right, cybersecurity in the different facets of cybersecurity, which is risk mitigation, risk assessment, risk analysis, all that kind of stuff against your enterprise and things of that nature. Right, AI, and a lot of folks will disagree with me. To me, AI is software sitting on a server in a data center somewhere. That's all AI is. It's not some magic person up there, and the cloud is just software sitting on a server in somebody's data center. That's all it is. Nothing more than that. People don't know how the cloud got its name, right? So let me tell you how crazy this is. I should have thought this myself. Back in the day when we drew diagrams, we used Visio. Microsoft Visio. So if you had an enterprise or if it was a local WAN or GAN and stuff like that, you from this building to this building, you drew a lightning bolt to a gray cloud to the lightning bolt going to that building. Somebody says, okay, all computing is in the cloud. And from that point forward, if you remember back in the day, you had F drive, which is a shared drive. you had G drive and all the other drive. It's the same thing, except now that shared drive is spread across data centers globally. So knowing that that's cloud security for AI is just another application, because when your cybersecurity people do a full assessment, they're going to assess your enterprise exchange server, they're going to enterprise your file servers, they're going to assess all these different servers, right? AI is software sitting our database sitting on a server. So what makes it different? The delta here is that your exchange server has antivirus, content filtering, things of that nature. They haven't developed that fully yet for AI, right? AI, there's two kinds of AI. A lot of people don't understand this. You have artificial intelligence, you have actual intelligence. So artificial intelligence is going to reflect what actual intelligence is. So if a biased person created the LLM, it's going to have bias. So in my perception, you don't want an LLM that has no bias. I mean, it's going to have biases. There's a difference between bias and prejudice. A lot of folks interchange them the wrong way, right? You have bias. If you go to a Baskin-Robbins ice cream shop and you see chocolate and vanilla, and you like vanilla more than chocolate, that's your preference. But if you say anybody that eats chocolate ice cream is an idiot, that's biasness. Right. And if you do something against them, that's prejudice. If AI ever becomes universally neutral, it's going to view us as a threat, because we have fault. We're human beings. We the one program the AI. It's artificial intelligence. So,
it's crucial too, man, because a lot of people, when you just said something about the bias, a lot of people don't understand that the input of the model can make it discriminatory, biased, racial, but at the same time, that input can be balanced. That input could be non-biased, but it could be the model itself on how it's structured that could produce bias. You know what I'm saying? So so that's why it's important to have AI. I'm sorry, say that again.
But it's being programmed somehow. It does not know. It does not know if I give it a bad word, right? Until I define it to the LLM that's a bad word, it doesn't know any better.
Right.
And if I'm programming it that's not a bad word, it's going to accept that.
So for everybody listening, when you actually put a sentence into a large language model and say, I'm walking to the store, it is not taking that I am walking to the store as we know it. You know what I'm saying? First of all, the ing is coming off the walk, because the ing is a waste of time. And what happens is this becomes tokens and it becomes numbers. So that I am walking to the store might be 3, 14, 7, 8, 9. And what happens is if we ask it a question and it's tokenized, it actually does its computing and it actually spits it out where we can understand it. But it doesn't reason like it. I mean, it does reason like us, but it doesn't take it in like us. It take it in and turns into tokens. And that's why when they say a model has 10 million parameters compared to a model that might have 100 million parameters, it's the info, it's the tokenization. And
now we're rapidly trying to rush to, whereas I trend and follow data a lot. We're rapidly trying to get to AGI. And when we get to AGI, the model can reason for itself. And that's where that video. Mad scientists are geniuses. Right. That's where it's going to become dicey, because if it starts reasoning for itself, who is the basis for its reason? Let me give you an example, right? India makes an AGI model. Saudi Arabia makes an AGI model. Thailand makes an AGI model. United States makes an AGI model. Europe makes an AGI model. Now, in those models is reflective of their society, right? So if their model reflects their society, because it's not going to be a UN AGI model. Everybody's going to sit there and say, no, I spent money on this. It's going to reflect my society. What if your society is anti another society? So, and if it becomes sentient, right, it's going to become sentient in the area in which it lives. So what if China makes a sentient AGI model? What do you think is going to think about the United States?
Right. And that's why. So one of my questions, and I'm going to go ahead straight down to that because of what you're saying. So for those who's listening to us once again, we're basically talking about who is going to basically be in charge. And for me, I feel that if it's not on the global level, it's going to be a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's going to have their own rules. So my question basically is, who will actually be in charge? And if there's no one in charge, will it be about the money, the race, the power, the control, or will the government have control? Because I asked that question is because if the government is not basically their regulations are not really intact and run it, making sure that things stay tight, not racist, not biased, equality. If the government ain't got a tight grip on that, to me, it's going to be all about profit. Because right now it's a race. Everybody is racing against each other. All the big companies, all the big billionaires, and they're racing with no thought in mind on safety, right? Because that little kid killed himself. And how in the world will character AI not have something in place for that? When you got character AIs that are for emotional support, this type of support. This little boy fell in love with that thing, and character AI didn't pick up on this. Now they did. They put regulations in place for that. So my question, like I said, who's in charge? Is anybody in charge? Is global? Because if it ain't global, I don't see how it works.
Let me draw you into another movie. It had Joaquin Phoenix. The movie was called Her, where he fell in love with the model, right? Now, again, Hollywood always puts you out something to desensitizes you. And then another one's with Robin Williams or the Millennial Man. Hollywood always puts out information to desensitize you to eventuality. Right? Yeah. Always. That's how I can remember. So if we go to AGI, nobody's in charge.
Explain to people what AGI is, because everybody listening, we're only a few steps away from AGI, according to Sam Altman.
All right, so AGI is artificial general intelligence. Basically, the model can make its own decisions for itself, input its own data, gather its own data points. Let me give you a perfect example of how scary it was. I forgot what year. It was about maybe 5 or 6 years ago. The models was 2 models at Google. They were talking to each other in a language to themselves because they said human language was too inefficient. Google unplugged them. Said, y'all not going to be talking. We can't understand what you're saying.
And nobody taught them this. Nobody taught them this, y'all. Nobody taught them that. They didn't even know the language.
They know the language. They created their own language so they could talk to each other, right?
And that was years ago.
On Facebook, on YouTube, a lot of people creating artificial worlds. There was one artificial world created a few months ago where every person in that artificial world was a language model. And they wanted to see how would the language model interact with itself. And they created farms, cities. For some reason, the preacher took over the world because it had the morals. But I forgot, I'll send you the link. But artificial general intelligence is AI thinking for itself. Now, the ultimate goal that people think mankind's going to get to is called the singularity. The singularity is where man and AI merge, right? And how many movies have you seen about that? A lot. So we're trying to get to AGI, ASI. If we get to AGI, no one's in control. AGI is in control of itself.
Right. And the problem is say for instance, like you just said, Neuralink. Like what happens when a whole bunch of people get that and then they decide, you know what, let's cut everybody off. Like I don't think people understand
that's not the real threat. The threat is this. If AGI goes quantum, it can break every encryption, everything that you understand what I'm getting at. So if AGI goes quantum, nobody's in charge. Exactly. No one. It's in charge. It's not going to let you empower it because if you notice now, OpenAI has made deal to go nuclear.
So
look it up.
So for people who's listening, I don't know who knows or uses AI. The reason I got Stephen on here, because we are way deep into this, man. And one of the things I want y'all to understand is because we are deep and they understand this is a problem. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the reasons why I tell people, let's start understanding what AI is, man, because even if you could just start using it to benefit yourself, because there's so many good things about AI, particularly for business, for self-care, but just brainstorming. There's so many good things. I always tell people you have to learn it. But Stephen is an AI cybersecurity guy to where he has to look at threats. And one of the reasons I want him to be on here is for you to understand long-term threats, man, and what's really coming.
The greatest threat is this. I'm going to give you the historical view of it, and then you'll understand what I mean. The greatest threat is literacy. When in 1999, when we were all worried about the Y2K virus bomb, right? And we thought the world was going to come to an end because mainframes could not click over to the year 2000, right? Right before then, you had companies out like CompuServe, Prodigy. You had all this stuff coming out. AOL was sending out CDs left and right. You had everybody had US robotic modems. Most users getting at home was maybe 14.4 baud rate, stuff like that. After we got past Y2K, right? The .com boom hit. Bezos wanted to sell computer textbooks online. That became Amazon. Microsoft came out with Windows 95. First was Windows Millennium, and then Windows 95, 98, whereas you didn't have to plug jumpers on your computer anymore to make your printers work, right? So at that time, we as a community did not jump on that and start building in our communities computer literacy.
Right.
And I always emphasize the technology is going to go forward with or without you.
Right.
I mean, we didn't jump on smartphones. They started selling them in Walmart. All of a sudden, we got smartphones like crazy.
I'm going to stop you right there because now I remember what I was talking about when I was telling you I was having a conversation with the guy. So what he said was his recommendation was for Black people to not use AI. Don't use it. Don't give them the information. I was like, my man, I said, but then he kept saying before this, we can't get together. So in order for us to do that, that's like saying, let's not shop for a day and let's try to break the economy. That has never happened because we just don't seem to be able to stick together. No. But he kept saying, if we didn't, and I told him, I said, this is on a bigger level than us. This is on a global level. And for us not to use it and take advantage of it, that's going to hurt us even more because
let me continue this. So we didn't, as a community, right, embrace the internet. But the internet kept on going, didn't it?
Right.
Businesses embraced the internet, and then we caught up after the fact when all these people was making money, and they changed the internet name to cyber. Then we jumped in. Before then, we was at our colleges dancing around and trying to learn to do MBAs and stuff like that when it was a tech world, right? Because now it's a certification world. Even Elon Musk says, I don't give a damn about your MBA. I want to know if you can do the job.
That's it. Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? And that's where it's going. It's all been a certification where I said, if you're a professional doctor, you got to be certified. If you're a lawyer, you got to pass the bar. If you're a dentist, you got to pass something. What made people think you're going to call yourself a professional and you ain't got no certifications? Now, right, I got my CISSP back in 2002, 23 years ago. There was nobody getting CISSPs, but I consider myself right. I got my SANS and GAC back in 2001. Matter of fact, it was a few months after 9/11. I said, so I saw that trend. Now it's required. You're not going to get a job without some certification of some kind. You're not going to get it. And so what I'm saying is with AI, right, we're at that preface again, whereas it's going to march on with or without us.
Right.
With or without us, it's going to go forward. Do we want to repeat what happened 20 years ago?
Right.
Ignorant.
I'm going to put up
your community at your house.
I'm going to put up something because you touched on the point. Now it gives me the opportunity to post this, and I want to talk about this real quick. And I'm gonna just go get these files. Where am I going? Oh, present. I wanted to get hold on. Oh, I gotta put it up on the screen first. I'm sorry. So what I'm gonna do is I want to pull up some statistics on if we don't start getting into AI, it's going to be a problem. And I just want to show people one of the reasons why. So the bottom line is, like, I tell people, remember when Google came around and we didn't take advantage of it? That's basically where we're at again. And like I ask people, are you rich from Google? And they all say no. And my thing is, we have another opportunity here. So look, I'm gonna pull this up. Here go right here. Present. All right. Well, you know what? I can't, for some reason, I don't want to mess with and try to end up closing this down. But the bottom line is, in 2045, there's going to be $500 billion that's generated from Gen AI in the United States. Actually, by 2045, I'm sorry, by 2045. Today, we are 12% to 14% of the United States as far as Black and brown people. But as far as receiving back from the United States, the get back, we only get 5% back. That right there is already biased. So we're supposed to get 70 billion of that 500. But if the proportion stays like it is now, which is, I'll just say 13%, we're only going to get back $27 billion.
So let me ask the important question then. Here's where the statistics kind of gets screwed to me. Who is we?
Black and brown people. Black and brown people. As far as in the United States, I ain't talking about where you at in Thailand. I'm talking about.
Listen, feel me what I'm saying. We're supposed to get back $45 billion.
It's supposed to go. So what I'm saying is, there's 85 million jobs are going to be gone because of AI. 97 million is supposed to be generated from Gen AI. If we're not 30 to 35% of those jobs, what I'm saying also, if we're not 30 to 35% of those jobs, our median wealth is going to go to zero by 2050. Because right now, white people are at 286 as far as median wealth. Black people are at 45. Latinos are at 61. on 5 years ago, they was under us, but now they're over us. Asians, which is considered Asian, Chinese, and Indian, they're at 553. So what I'm saying is AI is the only thing right now that is an equalizer for us, giving us fair ground. Because they say 99% of white people don't know AI, 99% of black people don't know AI. Next year, that's going to change. If we don't get into this AI game.
So listen, if they say 45 billion, and there's a reason why I keep asking the same question. Let's go to the black community, right?
No, 27 billion. What I'm telling you is
27, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Where is it going?
It's supposed to be. So this is just a scenario of wealth being distributed back to the communities that contribute. So what I'm saying is our 13%, we contribute to America, but for some reason we only get 5% back. Now we don't get the 13% back. So that's a problem in itself. And because of artificial intelligence, it will generate $500 billion by 2045. The black and brown neighborhoods, the money that goes back to us, we're supposed to get 70 billion. But if we don't wake up, if we don't become a part of the AI world, we are only going to get back 27 billion. 43 billion of our money that we're supposed to get is not going to go to us. And I think that's a problem.
Let's look at purchasing demographics real quick. So if we're spending X amount of dollars, we have a gross net wealth of, let's say, X billion, right?
1.8 trillion. 1.8 trillion.
1.8 billion.
Trillion.
Break down where we spend it. Who is the recipient?
You know, Gucci, Mercedes-Benz, Land
Exactly.
Rover.
So we were spending it on Gucci, LV, and stuff, but we want the money back. You see what I'm saying? We're not investing in our own community. We're not
and that's the problem. Right. And AI right now is here. There's another. Right. So we missed the boat on the internet. We missed the boat on Google. But the ship is here again. It's about to sell. So what I'm saying is, I'm tired of hearing people say, yeah, white people don't, 99% of white people don't know AI. 99% of black people don't know AI. Next year, that statistic is going to be different. It ain't going to be no 99% of white people don't know AI. That's going to be different. But I bet you about the same is going to be for black people. So my thing is, we got to wake up, man.
So that's what I'm saying. It makes no difference what somebody else knows when you don't know nothing in your house.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Worry about your house before you worry about somebody else's house, somebody else's neighborhood. And that's what I was getting at is if we have this money and we're not investing in our own community. Wait a minute, let's stop with the community. If you're not investing in your own house, you see what I'm saying? If you don't have AI in your, and I said, here's where the trick comes in, my brother. You've always had AI. When you say, hey Siri, when you say, hello Google, when you say Alexa, that's AI, right? There's where literacy comes in. You've always had AI. What do you think somebody, when you go to Google Maps, somebody's looking that up for you?
Yeah.
When you go to Google and say, so, hey Google, you think somebody's sitting there at Google looking that up for you?
Yeah.
If you do, hey, start sending me that money. Start sending me your money. You spend it crazy.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, if we don't put this, remember I said the number one threat was what? Literacy. Yeah. Did I say that? The number one threat, Steve Pullum said it today, was literacy, right?
Look, just so y'all know, that's my man, John O'Brien, financial literacy Paul.
Remember in high school, they used to teach you how to balance a checkbook, how to write checks, how to type. That was part of school curriculum. So, so what I'm saying is the number one threat is literacy globally. If you don't teach people what it is and how to use it, technology is going to keep on going. They're going to learn it the bad way. And that's what I do with Security and mentor all the time. And I'm not trying to build I'm 58 years old. I'm not trying to do all that program. No, but I want to give back to the generation of my 40 years in cybersecurity plus AI. You see what I'm saying? I saw this happen before. And if we don't do something now, if we didn't start in 2022 when OpenAI let go of ChatGPT, who was trained on Kenyans, by the way. So the Kenyans knew about it way before it came here. But if we don't start, we're going to 5 years from now, even faster, right? The average person sitting in the hood, say, I need to get on this AI, man. AI doing, I can give you another example. When NFTs came out, right? Black folks jumped all over that, NFTs. Not realizing without literacy that you're not going to go to Photoshop and create an NFT and make $1 million. That's crazy. Looking for that fast.
They ended that fast.
Because if you can do it, everybody else can do it. Because we're copycatting people. So what I'm saying is,
finish that, and then I'm gonna ask you a question.
So what I'm saying is, we have to start like we didn't do with computer literacy. I take that back. We got to start with computer literacy again to elevate to AI literacy. Because if you don't understand computer literacy, you don't understand cybersecurity and computer literacy go together. Don't open that email if you don't know who it's from. That's computer science.
Right. Talk about that. Talk about right now the importance of scams, deep fakes, audio fakes, because now we know there are many sites that can clone you in a minute, clone your voice, senior citizen scams. Talk about the importance of that.
All right, so it's super important. You see many articles where someone deep fake to get their daughter a cheerleader, where somebody's called from Mexico using a voice imitation and getting grandma to send them money to be out of jail. Don't exist. I think it was in Taiwan that they interjected a avatar into a business. You still there?
I was giving you the stage.
You back?
I wanted you. No, they can hear you. I wanted you to have the stage.
Hey, you gotta tell me stuff like that.
I'm sorry.
I'm in Thailand.
I'll give you the stage.
I don't know if my stuff drop off or not. I talk to my mom all the time. I be talking 5 minutes.
No, I was trying to give you the stage. Now I was giving you the stage.
Okay, so tell somebody like some stuff like that, man. What was
I'm sorry.
Okay, so you got a guy who was in Singapore. They had a business meeting. A guy injected an avatar with voice recognition and told them to send his personal account $20 million. It wasn't even him.
Yeah.
So here's the importance of that. Right? Here's the importance of that. Besides the obvious, a lot of videos obvious of taking video, picture and creating porn out of it, causing a lot of mental harm and stuff like that. But the importance of it is that I've all my life have known if something is wrong with something, something's wrong with it. I mean, if somebody sit there and said, I ain't heard from them 5 years, so they send me like, I love you virus, dude. I love you. I know hell you don't. You see what I'm saying? If you calling me from Mexico saying you got locked up in jail and you need grandma, and well, you in jail, bro. I didn't go with you. You see what I'm saying? So
let me ask you this, man.
The average population has always been, I hate to say that, the average population has always been the elderly generation. The Nigerians are wearing them out. If you look in your spam, you still got somebody saying, "Hey, I got this contract." No. You see me? Come on, man.
They back using that same scam too. But let me people don't really understand what's coming though, man, because right now, I'm gonna give you an example. I can actually make a clone of myself, and then I can go ahead and do a couple of more steps, go to sleep. I can wake up in the morning and I can see 4 podcasts that I actually didn't record. But if you look at it, you'll see me saying it, talking about it, blah, 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 blah. Yep. Because what they're doing is, so we have a problem here because what they're doing with artificial intelligence is they're trying to dumb you out. So I'm telling y'all now, artificial intelligence can make you brilliant, but you have to start using it. You have to understand prompting, the correct way of prompting. It's not really like where you got to be a genius for this shit. You know what I'm saying? One of the things you could do is always say, if ChatGPT gives you an answer that you don't understand, you could say, give it to me on a 7th grade level, and it's going to break it down to you different. But we have to start using it.
Here's the danger to me, right? And I'm not downing these people. I just don't like the terminology. So the term social influencer, I take issue with. I'm going somewhere with this, right? Because if I'm a social influencer, and that means influencing is somebody to change them from maybe what they're thinking to what I want them to think, right? Not like you're doing information. You're not socially influencing. Social influencer says, well, today I painted my nails pink, not me, painted my nails pink. Today is pink day, and I think everybody should wear pink today because it's a beautiful day, and you got 1 million followers. I can hack into your network, your influencing test, and say, okay, today I'm wearing black and I want to commit suicide. I think it's a good day to commit suicide. Next, you know, you got 50,000 folks dead on the ground.
That's what I'm saying, man.
So
they building these algorithms for this, man. They're building these algorithms to talk about.
Why we're surprised? Why are you surprised by that?
Now, you know what it is. I'm not surprised, but what it is I guess I have a passion to be able to wake us up because I know people be like, yo, Erik, the AI Erik, like it's all he talk about is AI. I got into this business to be selfish 3 years ago, to use artificial intelligence to my benefit to make some money. It wasn't until I started understanding what the wealth gap was, I couldn't believe it, and where it's going, and how AI is one of the tools. I'm not saying the only tool, because AI, without you learning and being financial literate, learning and studying, and it gets you nowhere. But what I'm saying is AI is an equalizer. It is here, but it is here with people who, a lot of them are monsters, and if like they're trying to get algorithms to actually 100% control your thinking. They don't even want you to think anymore.
Let me stop you right there. All right. So they're not trying to do this. That was, if you remember, that was the sole point of Facebook. When Facebook got sued, Zuckerberg got sued, and they had to admit in front of Congress, when they first made the algorithm, right? They made the algorithm with psychology in mind. You understand what I'm saying? They made the algorithm. That guy made that algorithm. He said, we knew that if we can get people to like, and they're clicking that like becomes part of their mentality, right? We will grow as a company. But what they didn't realize, what they did realize, and they knew this because they testified before Congress. You look it up. Zuckerberg had to admit they apologized. That's all they got was a slap. They apologized for the psychology they put into the algorithms, right? The psychology. We want you to like. We need you to like, because if you like, that becomes part of your self-worth. And then when somebody doesn't like something, or you got 1 million followers and they don't follow you, or you say something and that's part of your self-worth, and you lose that. What it's made you is, and here's the thing that you look at, here is the crux of it. It's made you into little gods. Because these followers have made you into little god.
Yes.
If you got 1 million followers, you have influence. I'm my own god. I can sit there and say, you are an idiot and I want your house burnt down. Somebody in that 50 million can come and blow your damn brains out. You see what I'm saying? So it's all psychology. So in order to understand AI, you have to have a firm understanding of psychology. Because this is all part of a global ecosystem of influence. Right? Being influential, things you can control, things you can't control, things you don't even know about. That's psychology. If you want to break it down even further, go to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Right? And the number one need is belonging. They use that to create Facebook.
Okay, you said number one need is belonging. Okay, we know that for humans. How about AGI? How about when AGI does come into existence and that robot wants to belong? What happens when that robot wants to belong?
Get the AGI. I said this previously. If we ever get the AGI, we become the subspecies.
So because you AGI globally, as far as securing this thing, who's the police? Who's the AI police?
AGI is nobody.
Who's the but so there's no police. Who's the artificial intelligence police of the world right now?
Each country.
IEEE. Okay. IEEE. No. I belong to several AI emphasis organizations. I'm an IEEE senior member. No, I'm on I know, that's what I'm saying.
I'm on IEEE's general GAI subcommittee. No, not police. I can't go as an IEEE senior member and go to Ghana and say this model is no, that you're your own country. You have your own resources. You develop your own stuff. There isn't any. Now there are treaties and agreements being drawn up, but you can't enforce nothing in another country. No matter what, we can't go to China and say stop doing what you're doing. That's World War III. So
how do you feel about the TikTok situation, because they're not from over here and they want them out of here, and they saying that their algorithms are this and that, they stealing data, the children's data, blah 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 blah. How do you feel about that? Because they're not from over here, because we have to kind of do our own thing.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm not saying this in any way. I don't care. Nobody told you to get in TikTok. You chose to go in TikTok. Now, if you know that going in, more power to you. If you know that going in, hell, they flew a balloon across the whole USA. What the hell?
I know. No. And we didn't even. Oh, did we put it down? I think we shot it down eventually, right?
You see what I'm saying? What do you worry about that for? Because nobody, so I have this argument all the time. You can't, your data on the internet is not yours. It's not yours. It's not sitting on your server in your house.
So privacy is gone.
Read the fine print.
So privacy is gone.
It's been gone. The moment you started taking vacation photos, and I can pull your photo up and pull up your geo data. Let's go back further than that, right? Let's go back to 9/11. How did those guys move the plans around? Steganography. They took regular photos to the Slack space, put plans in that Slack space for a regular photo, and posted it on the internet. That was 2001, right? So the data on the internet, hey, you put it out there. You put it out there. You went on vacation in the Bahamas. You put all your shit out, all your stuff out there, and you complaining somebody took your picture and made a porno out of it. Nobody told you to put that out there. That was by choice. Everything on the internet is by choice. Nobody forced anybody with a gun to their head to put anything on the internet. You want to complain about privacy? That's crazy. This is crazy.
The national framework that just came, like the AI governance, monitor the frameworks and stuff that just recently came out. I know Trump. They said Trump said he's gonna, I guess, maybe revise it or whatever. He don't want to.
He's gonna revise it.
It's just like when you said when Mark Zuckerberg had to go in front of Congress, they probably gave him a little tap on the wrist. Like, they don't care about taps on the wrist and paying $1 billion fine. It doesn't matter to them.
I mean, it took a Supreme Court to knock down Musk $50 billion bonus. He getting $50 billion. Yesterday, day before yesterday, the courts came in and says, well, you can't have a $50 billion bonus.
Damn.
Bonus. Look it up. Bonus. His salary, they want to give him a $50 billion bonus. I said, what? And they had to go to court to fight that. Oh, $50 billion? Man, hey, I can't get a $500 bonus.
So, man, from the way it sounds, man, and from what I see, these AI titans, I guess, or what I call mad scientists or geniuses, it seems like they just got a clear path to go ahead and do what they want to do. And I know that we don't want to stagnate them as far as with regulations. I know they got their certain regulations that say you ain't supposed to have bias and blah, 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 blah. But they've been saying that forever. And there's been redlining in banks and neighborhoods using one old zip code still.
What's the largest corporation in the world? What is the largest corporation in the world?
NVIDIA?
No, what's the largest corporation in the United? What's the largest corporation in the world?
I'm not sure. TSMC or what?
It's a U.S. military industrial complex. You're not about to stifle nothing, because a lot of the stuff, I was in Desert Storm when GPS came out, right? Because after Desert Storm, the technology we use in Desert Storm to track troops, they released to the public, and here comes GPS. We were already using internet technology in the 80s, early 90s. That's how we communicated between nuke silos, subs, and planes. They weren't making phone calls. It was a network called Autoden, Automated Digital Network. So people are worrying about stuff that already exists, and that's why I say people like me who are around for this stuff, who knows where it's going, that you might want to, just, hey, Steve, what do you, but stuff like TikTok and stuff like that, that is just, look, don't think they brought it in here and didn't know about it. Yeah. It's probably something they're not getting their cut.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Because they got, we got them over here too. We got the same thing.
Somebody ain't getting their cut. That's exactly right. You worried about China getting some stuff, and you steal it from your what? Come on, man. Come on.
And it's too much money. It's too much money going through TikToks for corporations, particularly American corporations, for them to be like, yo, we just getting rid of this. That's why I don't believe it's going to happen.
Social media and their advertisement. TikTok, I mean, just forget the common person. Look at corporations, right? You gonna just shut it off because of national security interests? Oh no, come on.
Let me ask you this, Stephen. As far as for I feel like this. I feel like our new generation coming up, they have to, the bottom line is we have to start building our own TikToks, our own models. For me, that's what I feel. I believe we have to become our own data scientists, machine learning engineers. And because we built great things. Like we took turntables, plugged them into, first of all, the people that built them turntables had no idea that those black people in those hoods was going to do what they did and blow them companies up and turn them into billion-dollar turntable companies. Nobody knew we was going to take it. Right. They didn't know we was going to plug it into the street sockets, and we became, hip hop is one of the biggest things in the world. So my thing is, I like the fact when Van Jones was at InvestFest, big up to InvestFest, he talked about how we can become makers of incredible incredible models that don't even exist now that can change humanity, cure cancer. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I know the guy from the video, Jen, says something like, you don't have to learn coding. I don't listen to that because there's always going to have to be a human, I guess, until AGI takes over 100% doing something. So for me, I just feel like this. Black and brown people, we just can't be using ChatGPT and all these GPTs and models that they have. We have to start being able to start creating our own. So we could be recognized. We can have the next Elon Musk. Yeah, like I'm just tired of us just being comfortable with using everybody else's stuff. We can create our own if we learn, because first of all, your skills are extraordinary. There should be thousands of you spreading this word.
Yes, it does. Or 1,000. I don't want 1,000 of me. I don't think so. So first.
You know what I'm saying, though.
I use daily. I use Poe, Grok, Gemini, ChatGPT, Copilot, Claude, Pi, and Camp daily. So I don't want 1,000 of me. I'm trying to get 1,000 better of me.
Right.
My time is gone. I feel all people say, no, you're just beginning. No, I'm just beginning to give back. You're not gonna sit down behind no Python. I don't know. I programmed Ada, COBOL, and Fortran. I'm not gonna go back and do that. My assembler was assembler on the machine. My machine language was on the machine. I'm not gonna go back. That's going backwards. That's why I don't maintain my CISSP. If I got it 20-something years ago, why get it again? That's going backwards in my life. So since I've done all these things, it is incumbent upon me to talk about it, have conversations, right? Not for me to improve. I don't get all these certifications for me. I can care less. I'm retired. I retired from the Pentagon in 2012. I'm retired. I've been retired a decade. But responsibility of what I help foster for the Black community in cyber. Before, when most folks were riding tricycles in elementary school, I was certified. My first certification was Novell back in 1993, Novell Networks. You see what I'm saying? And before then it was Air Force, but my first certification was a CNA, Novell, then Internetware, way before anybody thought about this stuff. So now, having seen all this, right, I know a lot of where this is going, I think, but I think that now, having seen this 20 years ago, now if you didn't see it, if you wasn't in the career 20 years ago, you don't know what I'm talking about. So you might want to listen. If you wasn't there, it's like somebody, it's like this, adage. 3 people can tell you the bridge is out as you're going down the road. One person can say the 3 are lying and you're going to keep going and fall off the bridge, right? So if you've seen the bridge in technology from the .com boom, the rise of the consultant, Bezos and them making all that money, right? One person says, hey, we can do this, slow down, just listen, right? We can change the world. First has to be community. First, it's got to be community. I mean, because we are a community people. I don't want to sound like that, but the community just can't be black and brown. It has to be a tribe of everybody. If everybody don't eat, nobody should eat, because the folks who own the house, your Musk and stuff like that, they gonna eat. Yeah, you can either eat at the table with them, or you can eat with the dog.
That's a fact, man. That's the bottom line. Yo, earn your leisure. Yo, one thing I like about earn your leisure, they talk about that, man. They be like, yo, it don't matter who the president is. Gas gonna go up, bread gonna go up, milk gonna go up. You need to be figuring out. You need to be figuring out a way to get some money.
If you see the system, if you see the game, right, complaining about it doesn't do nothing for you. Learning how to maneuver within it, it's how. And then once you figure out how to do it, you bring somebody with you. Then they bring somebody with them. All of a sudden, we're now not only players in the game, we're owners.
Right.
We're sitting at the same table. The problem is, we so happy to get on the court.
Yes.
We don't get a chance to look at the owner's box. We just have to get on the court, get a car, some shoes, house, a club, some necklaces, some rings, at the party, at the club, bro.
And think we falling. And you know what cracks me up about that? We seem to have a problem with talking about, we want to pass down. Like, somebody can have a little bit of something like, I'm passing down generational wealth. We ain't got no wealth. First of all, we need to be learning about how to get some wealth. That's why, like, John O'Brien talks about financial literacy for all, a home ownership. Like, we have to start thinking different and re-educating ourselves. We got to get out of this cool mentality mentality. We got to get out of this thug mentality. We got to get out of, because let me tell you something, chatbots, for those listening, chatbots are going to be doing interviews before you even get to a real person. And one of the things that I read,
company in 5 minutes. You build a whole company chatbots in 5 minutes.
A chatbot, one of the things that it said it's looking for, and I was shocked when I read this, is slang. Who speaks with slang? You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't even have a problem with letting you know you're going to be excluded if you come in here with that bullshit. So my thing is, we have to re-educate ourselves, particularly eye contact, because those chatbots are looking for eye contact. Today's generation Z, they go into 60% no eye contact in a new work environment today. 60%, they want raises in the first year, but this is what bugged me out about Gen Z. 15% of them bring their mothers to job interviews. I was like, what? I never heard of that before.
So let me tell you a true story of Gen Z don't know about struggle because they get a job. It's automatic racism and struggle. Let me tell you, when I started in the civilian part of this field, I was a manager of a big global company. And my assistant was this was Caucasian guy, and I wanted to prove a point to him. I did this to him several times. So when we had vendors come in, and we were talking multi-million-dollar deals, I would have him dress up at the suit, tie, the sports jacket, and sit at the head of the table. I come in Dockers and Docker pants and sit in the middle of the table. And so when they would come in, right, they'll come in, they would you had the salesman, the tech guy, and always the eye candy. That's what sales teams at the time were comprised of, right? And they would introduce themselves to him. He'd stand up and shake hands. To me, customer day, he'd say, "That's Steve Pullum." And they'd hand me a card. But the whole presentation was focused aimed at him. Right? And so at the end of the presentation, he says, "Okay, that sounds good. I need to talk to my director, my manager, the director of the initiative." They say, "Yeah, when can we meet him?" He say, "Steve, what do you think?" You can hear a rat pee on cotton. You can hear a rat pee on cotton.
They ain't like that shit.
I'm like, oh,
they ain't like that.
Me. And what he would tell me, he says, "Steve, I would have never believed it if you and I said, the reason I'm making you participate in this is so that you'll understand the other side of the fence, right? So you'll understand that everywhere I've got to, from VP of Bank of America to the manager of Verizon Global Security Operations Center to all these other things, I had to fight. But one thing I've always did was I made sure my employees made more than me. Always. I said, because I value your talent and because I'm lazy. But but I value you. I'm going to bring you on board because I value you. And you're going to make more than your boss. Number one, because evaluation time.
Gary V always says, I don't work for my employees. Employees don't work for me. I work for my employees. That's what Gary V always says.
I work for my employees. And that's a team mentality I got out of the military. Because if your people don't trust you, you're not a leader. A leader is not just a leader. A leader and inspirer is not by title. I don't care about titles. Do you trust me? Will you follow me? Will you listen to me? And that's what's wrong in our community. The people that we have as leaders are based on money and not character. They're based on financial. If you make $5 million, $50 million, $150 million, obviously you must be a good role model for the community. What community? Because they're not making the money. Somebody's paying them that money. They're not the owner. They're getting paid. How's that a role model?
Yeah.
How's that a role model? They're out there bumble rapping. And they got a brand new Bentley. How's that a role model? How do you tell that kid right there that by the time you turn 25, following that right there as a role model is not getting you nowhere, right?
What happened to the role models that your mother and your father?
I said, let them use your mind. Let them see your mind, not the crack of your behind.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I had to learn this, and I've tried to make myself not a role model. I don't want to be nobody's role model. I want to be your friend, your mentor. However it works out for you, cool, right? I come from the streets. I come from the hood too. I know that life. I know the life all the way to where I need to be at. Whatever helps you. I certify because when I talk to people, and I'm on a certification next month. When I talk to people, I want you to know that I'm not just talking rhetoric. Now, if you want to talk rhetoric, I can talk rhetoric. I don't. You won't see me on those stages. I'm not going to get behind no podiums because if I'm up there, that means I'm not working. If I'm in your conferences, if I'm conferencing all the time, I'm not doing no work. I'm not in the community. If I'd rather be in a community center teaching kids how to fly a drone and robotics than to stand in front of the White House talking about AI. Because when you finish that talk, you're not going to do nothing. You ain't got no money. But them kids, you inspired them, even adults.
That's crazy because my man Jazzy Mike called me today, man. It was like, E, I got your message. I spoke to my supervisor and everything about you coming to talk to the kids about AI. That's just funny you said that. Mike called me earlier with that. Wow. My man Jazzy Mike.
The end result is this, Eric. The end result is this, right? To me, just to me. The end result is this. Everything you do, right, or obtain doesn't go with you. But inspiring a kid. So I'm gonna give you a story. This is a true story. When I first got on active duty, I couldn't get a job, although I had all these stuff, mainframes and computers. Would nobody hire me?
Wow.
Right?
Why not?
At the time, you had Circuit City, and so this is '94, and I wanted to build a computer lab to teach kids, and I want to have a network of churches, and I was going to have them all on so, but nobody would listen, and so I had to go into criminal justice, and I became a CO, right? And after a CO, I was CO at a state jail, ended up being a state prison. Then I moved to being a jailer at a jail. Right? I was going to college too, and because I was going to college, for my whole shift, the sheriff himself said he can only sit down 30 minutes his whole shift. He needs to walk those halls. And so I walked the halls because I was working mid shift because I was going to school in the day, but I was doing my homework and reading my assignments and writing my papers, walking the hall. They kept getting mad at me because as I was walking the halls, the folks confined would be quiet. The brothers would be quiet because they see I'm trying to, they know what the sheriff and them are doing to me, right? This is Texas. They know they don't want to see me excel. So years later, I went and became I did that for about a year. Then I went and started working for community colleges, and that's where I started doing my certification stuff. Years later, me and my wife at the time was in a grocery store, and I heard somebody say, "Officer Pullum." He said, "Officer Pullum." I said, "What's up? Who, I'm working at." He said, I know. He says, "I want to tell you, brother." He says, "You inspired me." I said, "What?" He said, "I was locked up in so-and-so county." He says, "And we all, in all our tanks, watched you for months as them boys put it on you, wouldn't let you sit down." So that's what he said. That's why we were quiet when you came to work. Wow. He said, because we told ourselves, if they'll do that to you, we ain't nothing as inmates. He said, so when I got out with you in mind, I went back to school. I got me a job. I got back with my wife, and we're living up here now. He said, I just want to thank you. He said, because we looked at the whole, there were 7 tanks, each hold 40 something. And they were quiet at night when I came in. And he said, we saw that we got together, all the tanks. And if everybody acted up, when you was on shift, they shut down. He said, because if you were sitting there doing your homework, biology, anthropology, walking halls, drawing diagrams, having to stand up for 6-7 months, he says, if they do that to you and you one of them, we ain't nothing. And so, you know what I said? I said, you know what? I said, because you said that to me, I said, I know what I got to do in life. I ain't got to excel for me. I just got to be an example. Yeah. You never know who's watching you. You never know who's watching you. So I keep at it. I keep at it.
So what's going to happen if we don't end up like what's going to happen if we keep the same mentality, which is a mentality focused on bullshit? What's going to happen in 10 years?
Bullshit. You know what I'm saying? The pasture is going to have one or two things. It's either going to have hay to eat or a whole bunch of bullshit. That's it. It's the same pasture.
You know, one thing I could say about that, man, like there was a time when I felt like this. Mount Vernon, where I live, has a lot of churches, and the congregations are, nice size, and a few of them. And I was thinking, like, let me reach out to the pastors, at least let them talk to the congregation. To me, this is more serious than anything. And like you said, it's another opportunity for us. And it's also going to be a big loss to me if we don't get involved. And I tried to reach out to the pastors, man. That shit just fell on deaf ears, man. Like, they don't want to hear. They ain't making no money for their church. They don't want to hear that shit.
I'll tell you the way you have to do that. I would, and I've done this before too. I went and got a community center, and I set up a couple of laptops. And I had a couple of families come in from one church, and I taught kids, I forgot what I was teaching them. I was teaching them something on the laptop. Those people went back to their church, their same church, and told everybody else, told a pastor. The pastor of that one church started saying, okay, I want to run my people through because we're going to be up on this computer. We're going to be on this internet thing. Another pastor heard about that, right? He got jealous. He wanted it in his church. Then another pastor heard about that. He wanted it in his church. See, we are a jealous people. And we were, and some folks, there's a lot of reasons, but we can't get past that for some reason. We put it in our music, we keep it in our culture. If she has an LV purse, I got to have one. I like your nails are really hating on you.
Yeah.
Until we get past we're just one community, right? Because you don't find that, I'm not going to say in other communities as deep. But us, we are dog eat dog.
Yeah. And one thing we got to start doing, to me also, and like, you live in Thailand and I got family in Ghana. My family goes back and forth to Ghana, and like, I got mad family in Ghana, they got properties and all that. And Earn Your Leisure, once again, big up to Earn Your Leisure. They always, because they're building on 400 acres out there, 40 units, and they're going to be building continually after that too, 1 and 2 bedroom apartments, condos. And it's crazy because we have to start thinking way bigger than we think. We have to start thinking globally on a level, man, because I'm going to tell my son, I'm going to be honest with you, I already, got a thing to talk to my sons, my son and my daughter, talk about, listen, think bigger than the United States. Think bigger than that, because there's other places you can live better. The opportunities is better for you financially. The AI is better, because the AI ain't the best over here. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I just feel like we got to wake up, man. And, we just got to wake up, and because there's going to be a problem if we don't.
We have a lot of intelligent people in our communities, but I think we lost the concept of community. Yeah. Once you lose the concept of community, it doesn't matter how smart you are. You're going to go somewhere else where you're appreciated. There's old saying, a person gonna spend their money where they're happy, right? And if you are not happy in your community, give you a perfect example, right? Or you hear this all the time. So you're an NBA player, NFL player. Are you gonna live in the same hood? No. Right. Are you gonna date somebody from the hood you dated all your junior high and high school years? Not often, right? So if you're not willing to do that, well, I'm not going to live back there, man. That's what I'm trying to get away from. Then make it something you want to go back to. Make it something you want to go back to. But no, we want to abandon the communities. So we're doing the same thing with technology, right? Because we cater, we placate, right? We placate. We want acceptance, right? And there's nothing wrong with being accepted, but get accepted by everybody. Don't just tell her, because if you don't get accepted, you start blaming. I didn't get this because it's got to be this. It's got to be because I know it's got to be.
That's why I said we got to get into different thinking, man. Our thinking has to be different. I'm sitting here thinking about. Let me just say, I'm thinking here just thinking about the 5 churches you said will use LLMs, and I'm thinking about, imagine Mount Vernon or even in New York had 50 churches that had LLMs, and they had their youth in there from their churches, their pastors' kids and nephews that was actually making the algorithms and just putting things together and figuring things out. You can't tell me out of one of these churches a miracle's not going to happen.
Or better yet, have the churches, which you're not going to do, dedicate a little bit of money to a building fund, build a common community, a common computer center to train their youth in these things, right? There's a collection every once in a while to support that.
Right.
To educate without trying to get some national award, without trying to be in the newspaper, without trying to shine what we doing. Just shut up and do it.
I know a lot of people might say you crazy, but they already got AI robots get ready to come for you. They got a church that got an AI robot. Now, I know a lot of people be saying, oh no, this ain't gonna never happen. Let me tell you what happened. They end up controlling your mind, because they're already controlling your mind. You've been programmed, like Steven said, from programming from TV. So the bottom line is, I'm gonna give you an example. They have for content creators a thing where, like I said, it learns you, it learns your ways, learns how you do keystrokes, blah, 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 blah. Next thing you know, it does all the work for you. That's a problem. Yep. That's a problem, because now it's going to dummy out. But what happens is there's going to be content creators that's going to be against this. They're going to use it a little bit, but say, yo, nah, let's not do this. But once they say, you know what, later for them, we build this, let's make the algorithm where they win. Whoever uses this, they win. So no more. You could go to bed, you got 5 podcasts, but they'll be dumb at the end of the day, but they're going to win financially. Everybody's going to want to do that. You got people on the internet eating sloppily, becoming millionaires, and then other people wanting to do that. Just that shit is retarded.
So let me tell you, until we see this as a threat, right? Because we don't respond to good wisdom. You can't talk to somebody. You can't put a good use case in front of them, especially no churches. Oh no, you're gonna need this. How much is that gonna cost, brother? I'm telling you, you're gonna need this. Well, right now we're trying to put a new roof on the sanctuary, and so that roof looks just fine. Yeah, but it's been up there 5 years. Has anybody get wet yet? No, but we're okay.
Yeah,
you get a good use case, right? But if you look at it as a threat, I said, look, down the street from McDonald's, right? Yeah. Remember when McDonald's had a whole counter full of people? So what do you have now? You have a kiosk and 1 or 2 people. Even the robots are pouring you Cokes and stuff. Robotics, automation. I said that McDonald's used to be a summer job for everybody.
exactly.
That ain't a full-time job for nobody. I said, if you think
it ain't gonna be no person unless it's a regular restaurant.
If you don't think automated cars and all this other stuff and all these jobs you have right now, if you think UPS and those guys in Amazon are not for the widespread drones and drop stuff, I said, you crazy. Do not. I said, so if you don't train your youth now, you will have, there's an old saying, the grandfather worked, the dad was rich and the son was poor, right? The grandfather labored, the son was rich, and the grandson was poor. That's where we at. The dads are rich right now. Right now, them grandsons are them Gen Z grandsons, they're in the poor. Because if they're Gen Z now, 15 years from now, when they my age of 58 or something like that, what? What you gonna be doing?
I'm gonna be honest. We gonna be out.
You want to go to work. You want to sit at the house. You want to You want to walk in with an immediate pay raise because of what?
There ain't gonna be no jobs. There ain't gonna be no jobs.
This is tickles me to death. Last year, they said there's gonna be. Wait a minute, it's so funny to me. They said, well, by the year 2024, there's going to be a lot of people put this out on LinkedIn. I said, that's insane. 2024, there's going to be 1 million cybersecurity jobs open. I said, how do you figure? Where are these jobs coming from? Where do people have there's any jobs right now? How do you figure 1 million cybersecurity jobs going to be available in 24? What kind of crystal ball? What kind of ball do you have I can look into? I get lottery numbers. I wouldn't worry about them jobs. I want lottery numbers. You see what I'm saying? Did those million jobs pop up? No. Why? Because it's hype. And Public Enemy said, don't believe the hype. You see what I'm saying? Don't believe it, because all that is drawing attention. And all that is drawing attention. Logic tells you things like that. Logic tells you. Logic. If there's going to be 1 million jobs, there's only so many million people in America. Where are the jobs coming from? Who's making them? Where are they coming from? And at the same time, here comes AI. So if you
do you believe AI will create jobs that's not created? I believe, yeah, it's going to create jobs that doesn't even exist today.
Let me tell you what AI is going to do. It's not going to create nothing. It's going to repurpose jobs. Right? It's not going to create jobs. It's going to reskill jobs, right? So the jobs are already, if you're worried about AI taking your job is already gone. I don't need nobody to do Excel spreadsheets and Word documents no more.
Right.
I can talk to them. I don't even need radio broadcasters no more. I can just go home and as an editor, type the script up, put in notebook LM, and then program it, put it out that day. I can do a whole radio station.
I made a song. Look, I made a song for something I was editing. I made a song.
You see what I'm saying?
I told her what I wanted, and it was a nice song too, and I used it for a particular project that I had.
So what I'm saying is, we don't know. We have no idea 6 months to a year from now, because every day is advancing. Models are advancing. Every day is advancing. So if you're worried about your job, it's already gone. It's not creating no job. It's repurposing human in the loop job. And what I mean by that is, you're going to need forklift drivers. Right now, if you're in China, you don't. Them AI robots are doing it all.
Yeah.
So don't think you're going to and stuff like that, and you securing your job, because as soon as they get a much billion to automate, you out of there.
Yeah.
You out of there.
There's one of the CEOs
get in and I have to pay no insurance.
Say that again.
ROI says if I'm a distribution company, right, and I spend $45 million on robotics of my warehouses, I don't have to pay employees, I don't have to pay insurance, I don't have to pay none of that. Robot, and they're gonna work 24 hours a day.
They're not building these power centers to hire employees. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So the last survivors are gonna be the ones that are in the game.
So and the whole thing about it, jobs for who? Who gonna create jobs for? Because it's not gonna be your regular workers. They're not gonna go back and learn machine languages and NLP and stuff like they're not going to do that. They're warehouse workers, right? And your fast food workers, they're not going to, them jobs are gone soon. You see what I'm saying? So what jobs are being created? So the ratio of creation to elimination is a lot higher than they want to say, because the rich are not going to say that. They're
So
not
you
going to
say
say working hard to get rid of you.
the 97 million jobs that they predict is coming because of AI. Like, I guess AI people, you don't think.
What's 97 million jobs? Only 245 million people in America, huh? If there's only 245 million people in America, where 97 million jobs coming from? We have the 23rd illiterate education system on the planet. Am I lying?
No, you know what's crazy? So I got a book. It's in my bag. It's called How to Read a Book. And people be laughing when I tell them I got that book. But the book says that America reads on a 4th grade level.
Yeah, we are the 23rd literate. They just came out last week or two.
It could have been 6th grade. It might have been 6th grade.
23rd in the world.
Yeah. It says, and you know what also? They said that STEM program in America is still at the bottom of the totem pole for the world.
Yeah, so wait. So if we're at 23rd, now we're the United States of America, right? We should be at least number 1 or 2. We are 23rd. We are 23rd. So what 90 million jobs are they going to create? How many crayons do we need?
That's true. Wow. God.
Right.
Yeah.
So
shit don't look good then. Shit don't look good.
You see what I'm saying? So I don't pay attention. There will be 90 million jobs. Come on, man. Where they coming from? There's only 245 million of us in this country. And on the planet Earth, this Blue Boot Marble, we're at 23rd. I mean, there's 23 other countries smarter than us. And you're going to walk in your job and ask for a raise as soon as you walk in there? Raise your ass up out of there.
Oh, yeah.
Think about that. And AI is just gonna make us dumber. You ain't gotta. When I was in English, you just couldn't use. There wasn't no spell checking. Now I can type a whole paper. I really ain't gotta type it because we ain't figured out how to make AI figure out how to type it. You know what I'm saying? Education gonna get dumber and dumber and dumber, dumb and dumber. Because now I'll be honest to tell you, I type an email and then when that red squiggly line go up under there, that's when I change it. It could be that word, it could be the wrong word. I just right click and change. I don't even read emails anymore. Now I just talk to hey, like that Erik email, yada 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 yada. It's done and done. So you really ain't gotta type no more. What 90 million jobs can get created? What?
I know. I hope something is created from that shit, man.
Well, what I'm saying is this, right? Jobs are going to be what they're doing is what they're saying is this. Seriously, they're repurposing current jobs,
right?
And they're probably retitling them, right?
And that's why they keep telling people it's not going to be AI that's going to take your job. It's going to be some of that no AI is going to come in and take your job.
AI to take your job. So if you were a dock worker, you are now a automation specialist.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a new job, sure enough. But you was a dock worker before they changed your title. I'll give you the perfect example of that. We were all DP, then they changed the word to cyber.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of new jobs. Same people.
Yeah,
it's all in the marketing, bro.
Even AI, you know, sometimes I tell people ain't nothing artificial about artificial intelligence. That shit is math, science, and patterns, you know?
Remember I said there's 2 types of intelligence, artificial and actual. Now, actual is actually called common sense.
Yeah.
And
let me ask this. This video I got, mad scientists are geniuses. It's deep. Yeah. These people are literally talking about how can they put a soul in this damn thing? Now that's a mad scientist.
They're trying to define. If you look on my LinkedIn, you will see 3 books I put out. One was called Spirituality and AI, not my book. Another one's called Buddhism and AI. 2 books of Buddhism and AI.
I told somebody about that today. I told somebody about that today.
Stuff like that out. I want people to think, right? Because I belong to some groups, the Christian Transhumanist Organization and some other groups like that. I want you to think. The Episcopalian Church has AI given sermons, right? They did that. I forgot the name of it. That's on my LinkedIn too. The Episcopalian Church. I sent that to you. I said, so where is this going, right?
Right.
Because now if the AI is preaching about your God and it does not have a soul to understand what it's saying, it's leading you down the wrong path.
That's right. That's right. Elon Musk is already talking about an AI god.
Yeah, that's an AI god. You see what I'm saying? So here's the danger. So if it's doing that today and we reach AGI, it's going to be able to influence you to do things as your ministerial help. Like it's already telling you to kill your damn self.
Well, my problem with that is, if say for instance we got 100 different companies building these LLMs and these AGIs, that's a problem, man, because everybody's data could be different, and the wrong data could give us the wrong output. You know what I'm saying? So that's the problem.
We talked about that earlier when you build LLMs. See, we're touching on things we touched about, which is good, which is confirming what we talked about earlier. I said, so you build your LLM for AGI and you're in India.
All right.
You build the same kind of different LLM in China or Morocco or Saudi Arabia or Turkey or London or Chicago or whatever, or the United States, right? So that AGI is going to reflect the culture that you live in. So if you live in Thailand, AGI is going to be doing.
Right, but what I'm saying is, what happens when you have 100 different companies building different LLMs and their data ain't the same? And now we're all split up. Now we're all split up using whichever one we want.
Well, that's the way it is now. And you could do that. You could do that with the internet. But actually, you can do that. You can do that. So I wouldn't say that's AI. I wouldn't fault it to AI. I say that's capitalism.
Right. And that's my whole thing is, I know Mark Zuckerberg is trying to get with the White House to try to be the main one. To me, I mean, that if there's not going to be a main one, or at least one that we can say is a main, like, there's going to be a problem, man, because 10 people going to give the same type of presentation, but getting data from 10 different LLMs, totally different. Which is the right one?
So here is I believe the crux of the whole thing is we are on a that is basically irreversible. Because that's why they call this the fourth IR. They call AI the fourth IR. Automation and artificial intelligence is the fourth industrial revolution. They call it the fourth IR. So I forgot the other three. I know one was the steam engine, which changed things, and then something else changed things. This is the fourth, right?
Yeah.
In an industrial revolution, there's no reverting back. You go forward or the society dies, right? So after we got the steam engine, we couldn't go back to horse and buggy no more. Right. Because society depended upon the rail systems moving goods and moving people across the states. We're in AI now, automation and AI. There's no going back to typewriters and typing in Word documents and stuff like that and IBM compatibles. There's no going back. There's no going back to flip phones or Nortel sitting on the desk. There's no going back. So as we worry about things going forward, you have to sit there and I trend a lot of data. I watch a lot of data every day and I put down what I think is relevant to people that follow me. But a lot of it, I have to sit there and say, I hate to say it in these terms, I can't do nothing about that. I'm not at that level. Collectively, we're not going to get to that level because as soon as we try to do something collectively, guess what? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm getting at? So I hope talking like this wakes people up in some respect that collectively, you're not going to fight Zuckerberg. Collectively, you're not going to, courts have already tried. They're trying to break up Google, right? They're trying to break up Google. So they break up Google and the other companies who sit under the heading of Google. They try to break up Facebook, and Facebook changed the Meta. Yeah. And brought in more stuff, WhatsApp and Instagram. You see what I'm saying? So that is a falsehood. You're breaking it up to make it bigger. Yeah. If you have one plate of food, right? If you break it up, you can have more plates. It's still the same amount of food, but now you're eating more. Yeah. It's still the same amount of food. It's just now you have more people eating at your table, and that's what these people are doing. You think it's crazy, but it's not. Oh, they got Google. They're breaking them up. Don't be an idiot. Yeah, they're breaking them in separate companies. It be the people that ain't got no. It be the people talking that ain't got no money invested in Google. Ain't got no. You're not. There's a win. There's a win. Sound good. Let me tell you another example. Back in the day was Ma Bell. Ma Bell had Northeast Bell. And when they broke Ma Bell, it was one Bell system. They broke Ma Bell up in Northeast Bell, Bell South, and all these other. It was still Bell. Yeah. Yeah. Bell. Now they were able to work in regions and draw more money. That's power grab. Power grab. Now I'm in this as my own company, still reporting to the parent company. I'm gonna snatch up everything now because I can't do it as one big company, but I can come down here and screw you over. And it's amazing how they be doing shit like that, but yet we down here at the bottom level where they need us so much. People don't even
understand how much they need us, but we just be paying attention to the wrong things in our minds. Yo, I find myself sometimes gravitating to some BS, and I'll catch myself just like that. Like, what did if it don't make no sense to me, if it's not making me learn and making me grow so I could, like you said, pass down this knowledge, because one of my goals is to make sure that I pass down this knowledge, because I feel like I have a gift. I need to be passing down this knowledge.
So I'll repeat for the third time, the greatest threat to our community in learning AI is what? Literacy.
Oh yeah, literacy, right. You're right.
Literacy. I said that initially, and I'll say that all the time. Literacy. Now, the different components of literacy. Literacy is engagement. Literacy is empathy. Literacy is support. Literacy is building. Literacy. So if you look at literacy in a whole, right? Literacy is passing down, right? If you're a mechanic and your son's watching you build a car, and you show him how to build a car, and you pass, he now knows how to build a car. That's literacy.
Yeah.
Literacy is education, but more than education is empathy. Because I'm at this point, I want you to exceed me. I want you to go past me. That's emphatic. That's empathy. Don't come to be where I'm at. Go past me so I can look up and say. I don't look down and say. I don't look across and say. I don't look up and say.
We all thought like that, man. If we thought like that as a people, we'd be so far because we're powerful.
Well, I put it like this. I'm gonna tell you how you say this. The man said, "I have been to the mountaintop." Right? The man said, "I've been to the mountaintop." Martin Luther King. That means he's been up there. Come back down to bring you back up there.
Right.
Right. So if I've been to the mountaintop, what the hell is he sit up there for?
Yeah.
It's not my mountain.
Yeah.
He didn't say I've been to my mountaintop. He said I've been to the mountaintop.
Right.
So we're incumbent upon us to help other people get to where we've been. Not where we're not because we don't know where we're going. I say this, I want to say this. When our ancestors were slaves, they had no idea we'd be where we are today. They prayed as they endured, right? They prayed for a future they would never see.
Yeah.
They prayed earnestly, honestly, for a future they never would see, but they believed in.
Yeah.
Today, you don't believe in nothing.
That's
But
a fact.
some people are back on the plantation, and some people are on the plantation praying for a future they'll never see. But some folks are happy. Some folks are happy on the plantation. And that's mentality. Because if you're still complaining about everything you don't have and blame it on somebody else, the first person you need to look at is in the mirror. If you know the cards are stacked against you, right? Deal a new hand. If that poker hand is what you like, oh,
that's a fact.
Get some new cards, bro. I mean, stop. That is our sole problem in our community. We can come up with a lot of statistics on why we can't do something, but can't come up with one why we can. We spend a lot of energy and effort as to why we don't have something.
Yeah, I know. We could be using that as positivity.
Huh? You see what I'm saying? I love not having something. I love being rejected. I love that. Haters got jobs too. That's their job. Haters' job is to motivate you.
Yeah. Well, listen, Stephen, man, I appreciate you, man. We got almost 2 hours we done did of this joint, man. You know what I'm saying, man? We're going to talk. I'm going to call you tomorrow anyway, because I got some things I need to talk to you about. Miss Blue, I'm definitely going to reach. I need you to definitely reach out to me. I sent you my number. Sequoia, everybody who's been on, I wanted to say thank you. Stephen, I'm not even going to. Normally, you tell people like how to get in touch with people. Y'all can get in touch with Stephen through me if you need any questions answered or anything like that, because Stephen ain't on social media. He's on LinkedIn, really, for the professionals. You can get Stephen on LinkedIn, Stephen Pullum, you know what I'm saying? But I just want to say thank you, Stephen, for coming on, man. I'm glad you gave the knowledge you gave. We definitely going to be making moves, me and you, outside of this. We're going to definitely do a part 2 to this. I'm going to chop this up. Any last words that you want to say to the people?
Real quick, I want to say thank you for having me on. It's been a blessing. Again, I hope I didn't offend anybody. I hope that out of these conversations, these is just two black men talking, and that dialogue inspires other dialogue. Everybody listen today, have a conversation, take tidbits of this and have a conversation with somebody else. And then that is how we build the community. That's how we build our tribe, right? And so platforms what Erik is doing right now is absolutely phenomenal. When he asked me, I said, without hesitation, because I know the impact where it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
This is how we build, how we rebuild out of the ashes. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. We'll focus on part 2 when part 2 comes around.
Yo, once again, this is AI News with Eric. Once again, Steven, thank you very much. I'm gonna make some. Yo, Steven thinks he's retired. I'll just let y'all know. I'm going to make some. I'm making some moves. I'm getting him out of retirement. He can stay home. He can stay in Thailand, but he's coming out of retirement, man. I'm telling y'all, man. So once again, this is AI Eric. This is AI News with Eric. I want to say thank you to everybody. Peace and love. We're gonna chop this video up. Y'all gonna see little clips of it, snippets. But this will be recorded. So if anybody wants to go back and go over things, if you want to share the link with anybody, you can. This will be recorded. It will be stationary. So Steven, once again, I thank you, my brother. Peace and love, everybody.
AI News with AI